this is Half-Life. It's just that it's a game that basically is off of it's just original in any way, shape, or form. Basically, Half-Life starts off with
welcome to the Black
playing as
Mesa
Gordon
Transit
Freeman,
System.
the person
This
who was
automated train is provided for the security and convenience of the Black Mesa Research Facility personnel.
Basically, when he comes in, you basically realize that this may be his last shift during the experiment, saying that there were a few bugs today before the experiment has been launched. Basically, Gordon Freeman intercepts the officer, saying that basically there was a bunch of technical problems during the experiment. But also not only that, but also he was mentioning other issues. And as soon as possible, you realize that this may take into a more serious approach, and also it's very cinematic as well. The game doesn't usually other first-person shooters back then wouldn't be as cinematic like Doom or Quake. Basically, entrusting it with their. This was before the Source engine, Source SDK, has been invented. Source SDK was a program that was by Half-Life 2, not Half-Life 1. Gordon Freeman turns his suit on and he wears it. Anyways, afterwards, where he's heading towards is towards the Sector C test lab main test chamber, where the scientists are waiting for Gordon in the test chamber. As they mentioned before, basically also not only that, but also basically the laboratory is studying on an artifact that was basically recently discovered in New Mexico in Black Mesa facility.
In the test chamber.
Basically, afterwards in Black Mesa, you would realize how much the incident will occur after a few moments of repeated scenes.
It's good to see you.
Equipment problems happen also. Not only that, but also it's just exactly like that. And basically, it's just that it's just that they recognize that basically the equipment is slowly being taken down. But these people were actually experimenting on the exact experiment, just the artifact. Basically, they were just studying on a crystal, basically. And the resonance cascade was basically trying to just usually go for it. They were trying to experiment with more than just regular, super hyper speed on my human strength. Basically, they were doing an artifact that was underneath the world since the Civil War. Basically, they found it and decided it was a good idea to put it into Black Mesa. Anyways, as soon as possible, they were finishing up with the experiment until what happened is that pretty much an incident happened. So anyways, afterwards, then there is a carrier coming, and he had stopped the carrier into the analysis port in order to do something. But then Gordon Freeman, by accident, creates a resonance cascade, which basically means that basically this portal technology has been transmitted to another dimension called, and the being of the planet it's called Zen. A irreversible planet that basically was supposed to be set out basically from another universe that had to do with the artifact. Basically, the Black Mesa incident begins, and Gordon Freeman sees the horrors of what could happen when something that shouldn't be easily tampered with goes wrong, when an experiment goes wrong, horribly wrong. And so the G-Man, the person who kept guard of the artifact, was mad, and he took control of the entire facility. So anyways, afterwards, then Gordon goes back up, and these people are alive, but their phones are out because they're too afraid to move from the reaction.
We tried to warn them. Thank
God for that hazard suit.
But then afterwards, then you'll meet a very strange activity. He has to go to the other side of the facility, the Lambda Core, which used to be before the Resident Cascade scenario happened, before the Black Mesa incident. The other side of the base, basically, now is called Lambda Core. Before that, it was called Black Mesa until this was called Black Mesa. Gordon had to run into somewhat dangerous routes in order to go to it. And all Gordon's will is to do is what his capability is to do, and the objective is to just survive until you meet safety there. Until this, the game doesn't fuck around with you. You seriously have to go through one area to another. And it's a really fast-paced action game. But also not only that, but also it's a really great first-person shooter for even just back then in 1988.
I'd have let you in.
In 1998.
Everyone's heading for the surface. But I think they're crazy not to stay put. Someone is bound to come by and rescue us.
As well as that, the sentences did not make sense either. And so did the actualness. But anyways, Gordon Freeman finds out that...
I overheard a secure access transmission. Soldiers have arrived, and they're coming to rescue us. Of course, I have my doubts that we'll live long enough to greet them.
Just that, basically... we found out that basically the military is going to rescue the team, the Black Mesa team. But then they have different plans for Black Mesa.
Oh my God, we're doomed!
Instead, the military is going to turn on them instead of actually helping them. As you can see there's military murders. All turrets are set up, and basically they try their best. The military tries their best to try to destroy the scientists. Basically, because the government has a cleanup. Basically, they want to stop every single survivor from spreading the information of what happened towards the facility. And you'll meet various aliens during it also. Very few Vortigons only happen in this game, more than Half-Life 2. I'm sorry to say. But you find out the military turns on you. Gordon Freeman himself finds out that, and the military actually goes against Dr. Freeman. As well as that, also variously, that this game is actually really well paced. The scientists seem desensitized and dramatized towards the violence that's happening towards Black Mesa. Because they're scientists, not combat abilities personnel. Basically, they could actually but they could be a bit more manly. I mean, seriously, come on. Plus, the out point of the game is Gordon Freeman, called the most limitless potential man, the most free man out there, is able to save us. The gameplay is a bit unfair, though, to be quite honest. There's cheap deaths from like the If I didn't come out here sooner or later, I would have been dead in there. Absolutely, there can't be any camping in this game. I'm not even kidding. You can't even camp just once in this game. Or else if you camp, then that means they'll be hunted down immediately. But anyways, yeah, the military do serious damage to the facility also. They're seriously trying to get a gang on us. A gangbang on us and try to attempt to get it past us. And to assassinate every single person down. As well as that, Gordon Freeman meets a bunch of forces that are different from each other. Not just the aliens and the military, but the entire force of human beings like the Black Ops. Now, I'm going to be fixing this game into normal because I would really want to play this. And so then afterwards, Gordon Freeman's adventure was a bit more rougher than usual. And the developer who made this game was none other than Valve. Valve is the one that made this game from Valve Software. This is before Source SDK happened, like I said. So I recommend you buy the Half-Life Source version. The only bitch around this game is basically the tentacles.